How many of you know the story of the Ugly Duckling? I bet you most of you, right? Now we're going to tell the story, but with a slightly different version, a little twist to it. And as we tell the story, we can learn a lot from it. We can learn about how not to bully people, how to get along with each other, how to treat people with dignity and respect. We have a very special guest who's going to tell us the story. And of course, the music is going to be played by my colleagues and friends of the Minnesota Sinfonia.
Once upon a time, in a pond just over the horizon, lived a mother duck. She had been sitting on her eggs for ages and was getting pretty sick of it. She dreamed of the day when she could swim in the pond, eat whatever she wanted, and fly up into the sky without worrying about her babies being eaten. You know, the normal things mothers worry about. One day, almost out of desperation, she thought to herself, I hope these ducklings hatch before nighttime. I want them to come out sunny side up. Suddenly, she heard an egg crack, and then another and another. Until all but one of the eggs had hatched. Staring at the last egg, Mother Duck froze in disbelief. Horn toad over easy, she bellowed. This egg looks just like a potato. I've been bamboozled. But I have waited this long for it to hatch, so maybe I'll sit a little longer. So while the baby duckling splashed in the pond, Mother Duck sat on the last egg. Finally, she felt a wiggle, and then another, and a few more. Until... This is the ugliest, most revolting, poor excuse for a duckling I have ever seen. The other ducklings also thought their new brother was ugly. In fact, they found him so ugly that they named him Grazango, after the hideous ogre in their favorite storybook. Day after day, they bullied and teased him. They pecked him with their little beaks. Then they flapped at him with their wings, flipping him upside down so just his little flippers were left poking up out of the water while he desperately tried to turn back over. Worst of all was Ferdinand, who everyone called Quack Nasty because he was the biggest and meanest duckling in the pond. He would pick Grazango up like he was light as a feather, twirl him on his beak, pound him like freshly made pizza dough, and then throw him to the ground with a thud. After being treated so badly for so long, Grazango sometimes wished that his egg had been scrambled. Things got so bad that eventually he had had enough. Early one morning, he packed a few things and waddled off into the woods. After what seemed like days, but really was only a few hours, he found a new pond with two ducklings playing in the water. Sure are an ugly one, said one of the ducks. But they both agreed that Grazango could play with them. all seemed to go along swimmingly, but in the distance, trouble loomed. The faint sounds of a hunting party were in the air. And as they advanced, Brazango could hear their guns a-blazing. Scared quackless, Brazango hid in the reeds by the edge of the water. After hours and hours of trembling with fear, waiting for the hunters to leave, Brazango finally picked himself up and started on his way again. Over the next few days, he had many more adventures. First, meeting a cat, a hen, and even an old woman who jabbered on and on about that and this and this and that and that and this. The cat and the hen both thought themselves the smartest and craftiest creatures this side of Timbuktu. And they kept telling Brazango how pretty they were and how ugly he was. They even told him that he should get plastic surgery to look better. Brazango, however, did not want to be mistaken for a plastic duck in a shooting gallery, so he respectfully declined. They kept clucking and meowing so much that Brazango soon grew sick of them and decided to move on. With the spring in his waddle, he still couldn't fly. He marched along until he found another pond and quickly dove into its cool waters. When he came up, he saw, holy duck feathers! 2 swans, 2 of the most beautiful creatures to ever live, were swimming nearby. They had pearly white feathers and moved with such grace and gentleness that Brazango was in awe. Embarrassed by his ugliness, he hid from them. This was the first time he actually considered having that plastic surgery. Soon the great winds blew in from the north. The swans flew south for the winter, and Brazango, who still couldn't fly, was left alone in the icy pond. It was a cold and very difficult winter. Brazango had no friends to play with and became lonely and despondent. Early one morning, when the temperature was at its coldest and Brazango was shivering in the freezing pond, he was spotted by a woodsman. Truly with delight, he thought Brazango would make an excellent Sunday dinner. With lightning speed, he caught Brazango, threw him in a sack, and marched home to show off his prize to his wife and children. The woodsman's children were excitable little demons. As soon as they saw Brazango, they had a grand time with him and chased him from room to room. Brazango, on the other wing, was scared for his life and fluttered all around the house. The woodsman's wife soon had enough, grabbed a broom, and with a shriek, chased him out of her house. Brazango muttered to himself as he scurried into the meadow. With a quack skedaddle, he headed for a nearby pond, hoping above all hope for a ray of of sunshine in his otherwise bleak existence. To his surprise, when looking across the pond, he saw a group of swans. He waddled over to the water, gazed down at his reflection, and now saw himself in a new light. And that's when it hit him. He didn't need plastic surgery, and he didn't need other animals helping him, because he could help himself. He realized that his true strength and beauty came from within. He swam to the swans, and when they saw how confident he was, they welcomed him into their clan. Grazango found a happiness he never imagined possible. And he lived to be a wise old bird, one of the most exquisite creatures ever to float upon this earth.
How many liked the way Mr. Phillips told the story? He's really good, isn't he? Yeah, really fun. And how many liked the music for the story? Oh, that's great. That makes me feel really good. And how many felt that you could learn something from this and learn how to get along and learn how to behave amongst yourselves? Very, very good.